What's up mga ka-Investa? Welcome back to another Behind the Stock session. And today we have a very special IPO feature. No? So i-feature natin si Medilines Distributors Incorporated. So they are the next IPO that we have to look at. No? So I'm joined by Sir Jojo Villar or Sir Virgilio Villar, the chairman of Medilines. Hello sir, kumusta?
Hi Renzo.
All right, there you go. And our CEO and president of Medilines, Ms. Patricia Yambing. Hello, Ms. Pat.
Hello. Hello.
All right. So guys, I hope you guys are excited because we have the key people running the business here. Later on, we're going to talk about the IPO. We're going to talk about the company, the business, and most of all, we want to get to know them. We want to get to know the management and the principles behind who are running this business. So I guess we can start with a quick introduction. No? So I'd like to ask you, Ms. Pat, no, being the president and CEO right now of Medilines, can you explain the business model of Mediline? So what does Medilines do to make a profit, and what's basically your product or your services?
Okay, so Medilines is a distributor of medical equipment. So basically, Medilines right now, we chose the equipment that we're carrying. So we chose to focus on 3 categories in healthcare. That one is dialysis, the second is cancer therapy, and the third is diagnostic imaging. So medyo may pagka-technical yung usapan siguro natin ngayon kasi we're in the healthcare, but we'll try to simplify it as much as possible. So as a distributor, basically we partner with principals who are manufacturers of medical equipment. So, dyan napupunta yung mga names like B. Brown, Siemens Healthineers, and Varian. These are our principals and they are market leaders in the categories that I just mentioned. And then as their partners here in the Philippines, we help them sell their product to hospitals. So that's both private and public hospitals. How do we help them? How do we partner with them? We help them sell. We help them with logistics, a little bit of marketing, supply chain. So yun yung mga services na we provide for them in order to get their products out into the Philippine market.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that, Ms. Pat. No? So they are distributing medical equipment. They have key partners in the business. And siguro for the audience that are listening right now, keep in mind na lang the 3 focus sectors, no, yung dialysis, yung cancer therapy, and yung diagnostic imaging, because maybe later on mas maintindihan natin yung business ni Medilines if we take that in mind. So I'd like to jump to you, Sir Jojo. No? So I'd like to ask more about paano nagsimula yung business. So would you like to share how you got into Medilines and what was the journey from growing the business to what is now expected to be the first pure play healthcare IPO in the Philippines? So I'm sure it's a long story, pero kumusta sir? Kumusta yung experience nyo?
Nagsimula ako after college, ganun kahaba, no? Anyway, nagsimula ako sa Unilever, no? Ang tawag pa dati, Philippine Refining Company, no? Pero after my brand management stint, na natuto ako ng sales and marketing doon, there is this German company called B. Brown, ano, na gusto nilang mag-start sa Philippine operations nila. And they pirated me from the company na nilipatan ko from Unilever, which is Virgilio Villar. Sandali lang ako doon. This German company, B. Brown, at I was hired at age 30, no? Ginawa ako president kasi wala silang choice eh. Akong pinag-head eh. Konting-konti pa lang kami noon. And then, medical yon. It's medical. Ang layo nun sa mga sabon na shampoo na gina-market ko sa Unilever, no? But then I found out na pare-pareho lang yan. It's the same principle, no? Marketing is the same. Sales is the same. Pare-parehong concept. Produkto lang nagkakaiba. Saka yung technology, no? So, hindi na ako umalis noon. In fact, pinalaki ko yung B. Brown from almost zero to when I left, it was already a billion peso business, ano, after 21 years. 21 years ako naging medical. Medical talaga mundo ko. labas-masok ako sa ospital everyday. Hindi sasakitin ako Renzo, kasi doon ako nagbebenta. So that's good 21 years I was serving the Brown family. It's a family. It's 182 years. Yung third generation Brown ang nag-interview sa akin. Siya rin ang kainuman ko habang dinidevelop namin ng Philippine operations. Pumupunta siya rito. Tapos pinalaki ko ng pinalaki, ganoon din. And then nung 2008, nauntog ako sa pader. Sabi ko, bakit pinapayaman ko tong pamilya to? May sarili din akong pamilya, no? So I think I've served them well. Marami rin naman ang naituro sa akin at naikot ko yung buong mundo dahil multinational yan, no? So sabi ko, it's about time that I jump, no? Leap of faith na magnegosyo na ako. And that's when I took over the management of Medilines, no? Medilines was founded in 2002. I took over the management in 2008. Yung dating owner nag-migrate na sa US, no? So yun. Doon, the journey was long pero it's purely medical pa rin. Maganda. Walang pinag-iba sa sabon at shampoo. Benta ka rin ng benta. No? This time nga lang, Renzo, yung hindi na ko tayo nahabol ko yung kita na. Kasi hindi na ako basta rep, akin na yung kumpanya. Pero kapag isang tanong pa, Renzo. Pero ng mga lolo, nakakalimutan yung mga sinasagot. Yeah.
No worries, sir. So, interesting yung story, no? Kasi, di ba, from being a sales agent and then from the marketing focus, ngayon, sobrang medical focus na yung business na tinatahak nyo, sir. Di ba? So,
yeah.
For the people watching now or listening, no, meron din tayong previous conversation with Sir Jojo. You can also check that out if gusto nyong makita yung nitty-gritty ng journey ni Sir Jojo. But, yeah. Diba? So ngayon siguro i-focus natin yung sa company. So jumping with that, diba? Since lahat naman marketing sabi nyo same lang. Pero bakit nyo pinili yung healthcare na industry? Bakit yung
hindi ko pinili yun, Renzo. Pinirate nila ako. Nasa consumer marketing nga ako pinirate ako ng B. Brown. Yung kinikwento ko yung German multinational. Gusto kong maging mag-progress ang aking career. So, maganda naman ang offer. Biro mo, mag-head ka ng isang multinational operations. Although nung pumunta ako, 5 pa lang kami. So, hindi. Accidental yun. Nagustuhan ko naman. Yung training ko sa Malaysia, dahil nandun ang planta nila sa Malaysia, no? Sa pang-Asia Pacific. Tinira nila ako sa hotel. Ito, kwento na lang on the side. Ang unang linggo ko, pinakabis na sa akin yung 102 bones of the human body. Siyempre, tinuturuan na ako ng mga anatomy. Umpisahan dyan, nilagay yung skeleton doon sa hotel room ko. Naku, pag nagigising ako ng madaling araw, nakatayo yung skeleton sa harap ko. Para lang maging light ang usapan. Kasi masyado tayong medical Pero true story yan. True story yan. Nagustuhan ko yung medical.
Wow. Alright, so talagang kumbaga hindi nyo siya pinili pero parang pinili ka ng medical industry, parang ganun. No? Dinala ka niya doon sa medical side. So how about you, Miss Pat? Kasi I know na madami kang marketing experience pero at the same time, grab din yung experience nyo sa medical side. So paano ka naging part ng medical industry, Miss Pat?
COO ko kasi yan, Renzo. Ano yan Child of honor. Child of honor. Anyway po.
Yeah, so like my father, laking multinational din ako. So I've gone through brand and trade marketing experiences with several multinational companies. And finally, after taking my MBA, I had a really nice MBA. It's called S3 Asia MBA. So it's in Singapore, Seoul, and Shanghai. Kaya siya S3, tatlong S. So I went through all of those countries with my blockmates, learning business for Asia, like how to do business in all of those countries. And when I finally came back, in-invite na ako ng dad ko to be part of the company. But at the time, I was still with Microsoft. So I was one of the marketing managers in Microsoft. And I was invited. And during my first few years, syempre, it's really different. Parang yung naging experience ni Mr. Villar na sanay ako sa mga diapers and lotion and soap. Tapos bigla ngayon, big equipment for mga, yun na nga, dialysis, ganyan. But I learned to appreciate it kasi exciting din nga na hindi ka na lang humahabol sa quota. Ang hinahabol mo is kita for your family. So I also learned to have fun na, oh, I'm always with my dad, I'm always with my mom, and we're working towards something. And then afterwards, when I got to know the business and I saw that every time we are able to sell, it means that a hospital will be able to get a quality medical equipment. Parang naging sense of purpose na rin siya sa akin. Kasi diba, in terms of the whole of Asia, ang layo pa talaga ng Philippines when it comes to the modernity of our healthcare facilities and equipment. So natutuwa din ako na every time we're able to sell, wow, magiging quality yung equipment na gagamitin sa hospital na yon. The patients will have better care for their illnesses, or treatment, or diagnosis. So nakakatuwa rin siya. And I learned to appreciate it.
All right.
And Renzo, with the advanced technology principles, no, na-introduce namin ang latest medical technology. Especially from Siemens. Napakagaling ng Siemens.
All right. So
we're happy to share it with the medical community. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that also, Ms. Pat. No? So with that, siguro i-jump ko lang kasi nabanggit niyo yung technology ng mga dinidistribute niyo na equipment medically. And in your opinion, kumusta yung landscape ng healthcare sa Pilipinas? Would you say, are we advanced, or is Medilines what helped the Philippines talagang improve when it comes to technological advances sa mga cancer therapy, sa dialysis? Would you have any comments on that?
We can only discuss the product categories na where we are in. Kasi malaki yung medical world, mata, ophthalmology, meron pa yung kay Belo, meron pa yung sa tiyan, meron pa madami yan sa mata, sa tenga, etc. Kami simulan natin sa cancer, no? Na dinala namin yung linear accelerator dito sa Pilipinas, ano. It's a machine, heavy equipment, you can call it, sa medical world na it kills only the cancer cells, no? It spares the good cells, no? Unlike chemotherapy na manghihina ka, pati yung buhok mo malalagas, no? Please forgive me, baka merong dito may mga relatives na na may cancer. But this is good news kasi hindi ka na outpatient, no? Pagka-administer sa'yo ng radiation, uwi ka na, punta ka na sa SM, sunduin mo na anak mo sa school, no? Pero hindi ibig sabihin nung gumaling ka na. Babalik ka ng babalik. Yan. It's a frequent visits hanggang mag-improve ka. As contrasted to chemotherapy na nangihina ka, lalagas buhok mo, naka-confine ka, no? Okay. That's one technology. Dito naman sa dialysis, yung B-Brown dialysis machines naman natin. So katakalain namin kailangan pala sa COVID-19 yan. Bonus. Kalahati ng COVID-19 patients nagde-develop ng kidney trouble, naapektuhan ng kidney. So minandaan doon ng World Health or sinuggest ng World Health Organization na kada ICU bed na pang COVID-19, merong katabi na dialysis machine. So na-orderan kami nasaan yung kodigo ko? Madalian ito. We were given 3 months to deliver 126 dialysis machines. In-spread namin sa buong bansa, no? Plus 63 reverse osmosis machines. So, in-spread namin yan from Region 1 to Region hanggang Davao, Jensen in 3 months time dahil na yung COVID. No? And then yung diagnostic imaging, nandyan na yung mga produktong tulad ng X-ray na ito na naman, kailangan rin pala to sa COVID-19, no? Para yung CT scan lalo, which is the best way to see kung ano na extent ng COVID-19 mo, no? Kung naapektuhan ka. So, rush din yan. Marami rin kami nakakuha business dyan sa CT scans. And we're happy to do it. Frontliner kami. Feeling namin frontliner kami. Dahil nakakatulong kami. Maganda yung mga technology pa rin. So, ang sarap ikwento. Kaya lang, inuman na lang natin pagkwentuhan yan. For example, yung mamo, yung mamo na binenta namin, hindi ka masasaktan pagkaipit. No? Parang panoramic lang yan, gumagano. Parang dental x-ray. Yeah, so to answer your question, we're glad na nadadala namin ang latest technology, at least doon sa mga product categories na hawak namin. Right.
And there's still a lot of room for growth compared to even in just Asia, there's a lot of room for growth for the modernity of our facilities and for additional equipment. Especially if you compare it to the US and the European markets, diba? I think I learned from my father na yung cancer therapy equipment, yung linear accelerator na binibenta namin. In other countries, they have 1 linear accelerator per
1 million.
1 million people population. Pero sa atin dito, syempre, hindi pa tayo ganung levels. There are only several hospitals with linear accelerator equipment. Right now, so marami pa talaga tayo.
Malaki pa market, malaki pa.
Malaki pa talaga yung market na pwede nating iserve when it comes to medical equipment.
Exciting. So, nandun pa rin talaga yung growth potential. And at the same time right now, thank you for Medilines kasi dahil nasa pandemic tayo, talagang malaki yung benefits. Malaki yung nasa-serve nyo na population because of the pandemic. So thank you for that kasi that is your service as well. So siguro I'd like to move on with the purpose or at least the mission of the company. So could you share with our audience ano nga ba yung vision ng Medilines and what are the goals for the company 3 to 5 years from now? Sige, we can start with that muna.
Well, ang vision ng company, as we have repeatedly told you, is to bring the best in medical technology whenever possible and to partner with the government and the private sector because we have the best doctors. Yan, feeling ko yun. One of the best doctors are the Filipino doctors. Kasi they can treat people even without the equipment. Can you imagine kung merong hawak na paligiran mo ng mga modern medical equipment? Yan, para ka ng The Good Doctor, nanonood ka ba nun? Tsaka yung yung isa? Amsterdam. Yan, kala mo gagaling nila doon. Ang magagaling doon yung mga equipment. Sa Pilipinas, magagaling yung mga doktor. Pag nilagyan mo yan ng mga modern equipment, tiklop yung mga Amerikano na yan. Right? So, yun ang vision namin. And the other is, dahil nga nagbebenta na kami ng equipment, medyo nasisilip namin. May mga consumables yan. Nasisilip namin. Iba nakikinabang. Like for example, sa dialysis. Every time may dinadialyze, ginagamit ang makina namin. Pero ang daming ginagamit ng mga accessories na one-time use. Ang laki pala ng kita nun. Sabi namin, teka muna. Ikausap na namin itong mga doktor na to, itong mga nurses na to, mas malaki ang chance na kami makakabenta dahil kami ang kilala, kami ang kausap, kami ang may relasyon sa kanila. So sabi namin, and then ang discovery rin, so ang laki pala ng margin ng mga consumables na yan kumpara sa aming mga makina. So yan, dyan namin dadali ng Medilines. Ang long-term vision namin is siguro approaching 50% magiging consumables yan in 10 years time. At hindi namin pwedeng iwanan yung malalaking makina kasi isa lang ibenta mo nun, kota ka na kumbaga sa ahente. Ang isang linear accelerator, 120 million pinaka-basic niyan. Yung ang CT scan, merong 25 million, may 100 million. So kahit na maliit lang ang kita dyan in terms of percentage, ang laki nun in terms of absolute value. So hindi namin iiwanan yan. So in the future, lalagyan namin, sasabayan namin yan ng mga consumables na high margin. Yan, ang ganda ng Medilines talaga. Remember, Renzo, nasa 3 medical fields pa lang kami. Siguro there are at least 50 medical fields. At least. Mula ulo hanggang paa, merong pati nga yung yung anong tawag doon, yung sa kuko ng paa, merong medical yun eh, may medical field yun eh. Podometry ba yun? Nakakalimutan ko. Tawag doon. May isang libro ng instruments, pantanggal ng ng yun. Yung masakit sa inyo sa pedicure. Anyway, dinadagdagan ko ng biro, Renzo, kasi masyadong medical, masyadong technology. Masyadong technology na ba nandito. Yeah.
Alright. So if isa-summarize ko, no, basically long-term wise, we would like Medilines to really expand, no, aside from yung tatlong main focus na dialysis, cancer therapy, and diagnostic imaging, pati sa consumables, and to really branch out pa dun sa medical industry.
Sa iba pang specializations.
Yes.
Ma-orthopedic man yan, ma-laboratory, pag-aaralan namin yan. Madami pa eh, madami pa.
Alright.
But all the while, we still continue to partner with market leaders in the field.
Market leaders,
in the
choice namin yan.
categories, and make sure that the equipment are all quality.
So I think my next question naman would be more about leadership. Kasi kayo yung nagra-run ng company as chairman, as president. So I'm very interested. Ano yung leadership style ni Sir Jojo and ni Miss Pat? So baka pwedeng Sir Jojo ikaw mag-comment kay Miss Pat, or Miss Pat, paano si Sir Jojo as a leader? No?
Parang parlor game to. Anyway, anak ko yan, kaya kilala ko yan nag-aaral siya sa sa tatlong countries na dinaanan niya sa MBA, yung Singapore at saka yung South Korea, Seoul, no? Saka sa Fudan University sa Shanghai. So kaya ang daling isabak sa multinational eh. Alam niya ang language ng mga multinationals kasi kumbaga na internationalize siya, no? Tapos ang nakita ko kay Pat, kasi ako style ahente, no? So siya manager talaga eh, na-orchestrate niya yung yung kung anong dapat na wag maiwan eh. Baka may nakalimutan o nako-coordinate niya, no? Yan ang gusto ko kay Pat eh. Ibig sabihin, pwede ko iwanan talaga. No? Sabi ko nga, sa susunod, magbebenta para maalagaan ko yung income. Pat, ikaw na bahala sa loob ng opisina, no? Ayusin mo lahat dyan. No? Although papakilala pa rin kita sa mga customers, pero mas gusto kong siya mag-head eh. Parang mas magaling siya sa akin. Ba yung feeling na gano'n, di ba? No? Pagtandaan nyo, mararamdaman nyo rin yun, mas magagaling yung mga anak nyo sa inyo. Joke lang yun, Renzo. Anyway, ikaw naman eh. Ikaw naman, Pat.
But of course naman, nag-start naman talaga yung vision with Mr. Villar. And I'm just finding ways on how the company can get there. So I think, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the colors in terms of personalities or leadership styles. So I describe my dad to be red. He knows what he wants. This is the goal. And I describe myself to be blue. Okay, this is the ways, the options that we can get there. Let's organize the process, make sure everything is ready our structure, all of those nitty-gritties that talagang kailangan i-manage. So I think in terms of that, sobrang nagko-complement yung styles namin. Oo. Tsaka, syempre, si Papa, ang dami niyang nakukuha talaga na mga network kasi you've spoken to him already more than once, diba? Sobrang personable, ma-joke, pero alam mo yun, parang
laking ahente.
Siya. Oo. So, idol talaga when it comes to vision and yung mga maparaan how to get to his goal. Yan yung si Mr. Villar. Kapareho siya ng kapatid niya. Mas pogi lang yung papa ko.
Mas pogi naman ang bulsa ni Kuya Manny. Yeah, kasi doon sa university pinanggalingan ko, tinuruan kami mag-survive eh. Mag-survive, no? Ito lang ang resources mo, no? Mag-survive ka, ganun. Sa university naman na pinanggalingan ni Pat, tinuruan sila mag-manage talaga. Saka professional approach.
Galing. So, actually, looking at that, sobrang complementary nga, no? So, at least for Sir Jojo, more on the sales side and then talagang going out there. And Miss Pat, of course, Ay, nakukuha nyo rin yun, but more on yung strengths nyo sa pag-organize talaga. More,
Yeah.
ayun, solid,
Orchestra
solid.
conductor. Yeah.
All right.
Galing.
So, thank you for sharing that. No? I think kasi importante rin na malaman natin kung paano nagli-lead, 'di ba? Yung leader sa isang kumpanya. So, aside from that, no, aside of course we know the people na behind Medilines, I'd like to know more about the company as well. So, for the Filipinos and for everyone who's watching us, paano sila makaka-relate? Babalik lang ako dun sa tatlong focus, yung dialysis, cancer therapy, diagnostic imaging. How can relate to those three focus segments ni Medilines? And gaano nga ba ka-common yung tatlong ito sa mga ospital sa Pilipinas?
First of all, I think I want to say that if you go by the saying on invest in what you know, it's not very difficult to get to know healthcare in general. Kasi everybody needs healthcare in one point of their lives or 'di ba, or another, kasi pinanganak ka pa lang, 'di ba? Siguro naman na meron kang medical care na nakuha, yung buntis pa lang yung nanay mo, up to the when you have to have something diagnosed or treated, specific illnesses, yan. Understand natin yan. Importante talaga ang healthcare. When it comes to the categories that we participate in, ay talagang relate sa Filipinos yan, because dialysis machines that treats kidney diseases originate most often from diabetes. The incidence of diabetes and kidney diseases are growing as the population grows also. So kaya nagmumultiply ngayon, nagbo-boom yung mga dialysis centers. Even the existing dialysis centers are expanding. Madami ngayon ang mga patients na 100% covered already ng insurance, ng PhilHealth, kaya pumupunta na sila, nagpapatreat na sila. And that's normally for a patient around 2 to 3 times a week. So that's dialysis. When it comes to cancer treatment, ay talagang relate din sila, kasi cancer is top 3 of the causes of morbidity of Filipinos. Number 1 actually is breast cancer. So madami ang incidences din of cancer, and the incidences are growing because of the lifestyle normally that people lead. And then lastly, in terms of diagnostic imaging, nakaka-relate din tayo kasi 'di ba, kapag may sakit tayo, before tayo binibigyan ng gamot or before binibigyan ng diagnosis ng doktor, 'di ba? Mag-X-ray ka muna, tignan natin kung ano talaga yung kung ano talaga yung problem.
Ultrasound.
Kung hindi X-rays, mag-CT scan muna tayo, mag-mammography muna tayo, kasi it really examines the inside and sees what needs to be treated. Also, if you're given medicine, nakikita kung nag-work yung medicine na binigay sa'yo or yung medical procedure na ginawa sa'yo, magpapaano ka rin, X-ray ka ulit, CT scan ka ulit to see if it's really working. So nakaka-relate, a lot of us are able to actually relate to the categories that Medilines participates in.
Ganun kaganda, Renzo, yung mundo namin.
Talagang relevant talaga siya, kasi tama nga naman, lahat naman tayo sa panganganak pa lang, kailangan mo na ng medical assistance, medical technology.
Right. Panganganak, bago pa lang yung panganak, gagamitin na yung ultrasound namin para sabihin sa'yo kung lalaki o babae yung lalabas.
Tama.
O kambal.
Grabe.
Let's surprise yung mga uso ngayon na gender reveal.
Even way
Tapos
before
yung
panganganak. Siguro, I'd like to move on to a more business side, no? Pero relating pa rin dito sa ating tatlong focus areas, yung dialysis, cancer therapy, and diagnostic imaging. So, sa Medilines, what does your market share look like among those focus sectors? Are you actually controlling the market share when it comes to the Philippines, no, sa pag-distribute and pag-serve ng tatlong focus areas nyo?
Yes, we are the market leader in 2 out of the 3 categories. So for cancer therapy, we have 90% of the market. For dialysis, we have 50% of the market. And for diagnostic imaging, specifically X-rays and CT scans, we are 18% of the market.
Alright. So I think with that number pa lang, makikita na natin na talagang leading when it comes to distributing those medical equipment sa ganitong sector. So thank you for sharing that, no. So medyo malaki yung opportunity, and then at the same time, since kinokontrol niyo yung market, no, I'd like to ask, paano nyo i-maintain and i-improve yung market leadership sa segments na ito? No, do you have any advantages over your competitors? Given that yung cancer 90%, yung dialysis 50%, kalahati na conquer nyo na. And then sa diagnostic imaging 18%. So siguro doon may opportunity pa to grow. Do you have any comments with that?
Sa cancer therapy, sa last 5 years siguro how many? 10 out of 11 linear accelerators kami yata ang 10 out of 21 kami ang nag-install, and then the rest was installed by the principal. So it's the same brand, no? So through the distributor and direct, no? So yung kaysa naming competitor, wala yata siyang na-install in the last 5 years. Meron lang siyang na-install na mga maliliit na parts o sub machine like brachy or another cancer na maliit compared to the linear accelerator. So napakadaling i-maintain itong leadership namin dyan kasi in the last 5 years kami lang ang nakita kami lang kilala ng mga PCCs, no? Yan ang mga personnel ng hospital na involved sa nuclear medicine. Kami lang ang nakakausap nila, kami lang ang nakikita nilang produkto, no? Although lately nakapagbenta ng isa yung competitor namin, nasabayan naman namin this year ng 5 benta namin, So the relationship is already there. The interaction with the customers, the PCCs, no, are there with the radiation oncology. Yan ang tawag sa doktor na gumagamit ng linear accelerator. Plus the fact na worldwide 80% market share yon, hinahanap talaga nila yun So kung panahon na para bumili ng linear accelerator, ang una nilang tanong, sino ba yung distributor ng bayan? Kami yun. So tatawag na lang kami. Ang daling i-maintain. Of course, we will have to be on guard dahil nagsisipag na rin yung kalaban. Pero ang laki na lamang namin sa customer relationship, sa knowledge, saka sa mga servicing. May after sales service kasi yan, which we do together with our principals. Sa B. Brown naman sa dialysis, they control 70% of the market. Dalawa lang sila, B. Brown tsaka Fresenius, parehong German. Yung Fresenius, together pala, they control 90% of the market. Itong B. Brown control 70% of the market, so 20 lang itong Fresenius. Team partner namin since 2002 mula na nagsimula yung Medilines, yung B. Brown. So, well, very active kami sa Philippine Society of Nephrology. Kilala namin ng mga nephrologists, kilala namin ng mga nephrology nurses. So talagang tawag doon, ang tindi ng seed planting namin over the years. Hindi kami yung overnight na supplier. Kami yung mula pa ng 2002 talagang pag yun ang usapan, kilala kami. Then lastly, yung diagnostic imaging, nandyan yung matitinding kalaban. Hindi kami pwede magpasikat dyan. So 18% market share lang kami. Kasi nandyan ang Philips, nandyan ang GE, nandyan ang may mga China branch na rin. May Fuji, may Hitachi, may Toshiba. So everybody's there. So hindi kami masyadong doon, market leader. Hindi kami market leader doon sa ikatlo. So to summarize yung sagot ko sa tanong mo, yung experience namin, Renzo, yung aming relationship sa end users, ang tindi na, malalim. Hindi lang ako, yung mga sales managers ko, ang titindi na ng mga ng mga experiences niyan. I think yun ang lamang namin, lamang na lamang kami, and that will propel us to the same market shares more or less in the next 5 years at least dito sa categories namin.
All right. Okay. So very interesting, no? Kasi nabanggit nyo rin na, for example, yung Linac, you said na 10 out of 11 ay galing sa Medilines. 'Diba?
10, kinore ko, 10 out of 21. Pero lahat yon yung brand namin. Yung 11 lang, yung principal lang directly install. Yung 10 dinaan sa amin, sa distributor.
Okay. So just to understand the business model even further, no, as a distributor, why would the principals, no, sila Siemens, B. Brown, and Varian, why would they want to partner with Medilines instead of selling the equipment themselves? So parang, ayun, bakit kailangan na may partnership instead na sila mismo yung nagbebenta dito sa Pilipinas?
I'll try to explain muna the environment. No? In terms of medical equipment, especially sa Philippines, almost 100% yan imported. Meaning, we really depend on the brands and the manufacturers outside of the Philippines for the medical devices that we use here in the country. So that in itself tells you how important distributors are in this industry. Now, among the ASEAN region, Philippines, more often than not, is a least priority investment, especially from multinationals outside, diba? So in terms of the ASEAN market, in terms of the what do you call that, per capita expenditure in medical devices, in healthcare in general, malayo pa rin talaga yung Philippines versus the other countries. So in terms of investment priorities, most often than not, lagi tayong nasa huli. So what will you do if you're a multinational and you want to penetrate the Philippine market? And you talk about in the region, you talk about market shares, diba? Penetration, yan yung mga linggo ng mga multinational, especially in the region. You get a distributor. Kasi the distributor, they have the history, they have the network, they have a ready customer base. And if you want to penetrate right away and have market share right away, you partner with the right distributor. So that's in general. But specific to Medilines, they partner with us because of our history, our experience, our network, our image of partnering with multinationals that are quality. So because we come from multinationals also, we know how these companies think or their KPIs. That's why they partner with us. Also because we know the nitty-gritty of the procurement process here in the Philippines, in which case sometimes or most often the regions, they don't understand that off the bat, diba? Na yung mga nuances ng procurement here. And it's different versus, for example, procurement by government hospital, by private entities, procurement in Manila versus procurement in Cebu and Mindanao. In this particular hospital, nag-iiba yan. And that's what makes partnering with distributors so attractive for multinationals because it makes them efficient in penetrating the market. It also makes them get rid of a little bit of risk. Kasi we partner with them and help them with the risk. So, kunyari, mayroong mga customers na matagal magbayad or may mga projects na matagal matapos, di ba? We help them with that risk. So, importante din sa amin, especially with the category that we participate in, and because the machines that we sell are high capital, high intensive, importante din sa amin na mayroong financial capabilities talaga yung company. Kaya in terms of mga big ticket projects, considering that criterion, konti na lang yung mga competitors ng Medilines. Kasi nga ang laki ng capital na kailangan for some of our projects. So yun. You also partner with Medilines because some of these projects doesn't only require you to sell the machine. It has a lot of other mga nakakabit na ka-package dun sa machine. So, merong projects na kailangan mo rin ng infrastructure building. And then, kailangan mo ng mga third-party items like ultimo aircon naka-package dun sa machine. And then, yung mga maliliit na mga, kunyari, AVR, transformer, yung mga ganyan, naka-package sa machine, may consumables, accessories. If you're a multinational, you don't want to have to deal with talking to all of these suppliers just to make a package and make a sale. So you go through a distributor to help you complete the package and also to help you market. Kasi iba-ibang hospital may iba-ibang kailangan yan eh. Nag-change yung specification niya per project. 'Di ba? So hindi lang siya always plug and play. Sabi niya, ito ang gusto kong specifications, A, B, C, D. Yan. Tapos ang gagawin namin, yun yung isasabihin namin or i-coordinate namin between the principal and the customer. Yung specifications na gusto na kausap namin na doctor na kailangan mismo ng hospital. So, it takes expertise. It's not just like parang yung pinanggalingan namin ni Mr. Villar na kunyari lotion. Okay, ito lotion na to. I mean, 'di ba? It moisturizes your skin tapos na. Ito hindi, ang dami pa nilang kailangan na specifications and we need to be able to have expertise to know exactly what they need and how to paano ba? Calibrate the machine ganyan in order to meet their standards, 'di ba? So, yun yung ginagawa namin.
Alright, grabe. So talagang kailangan nila yung specialty ng Medilines, ng distributor.
Yeah, financial, dapat financial capability, dapat expertise, experience,
customer relationship.
Most of the projects that we bid for, they require to prove your financial capacity, they require your single largest completed contract and net financing capacity.
Net financial contracting capacity.
Yeah, net financial contracting capacity, they ask for that. And then to make sure that you have the track record of executing the same projects, they ask for a list of similar completed contracts. And in terms of our categories, medyo mas kumukonte yung competitors namin in that regard. Kasi nga, ang dami mong dadaanan na criteria.
Daming gagawin, ang daming criteria. Kaya natatakot yung mga gustong pumasok.
Oo nga. Tsaka may ano din for multinationals, if they want to enter the Philippines, there's a learning curve that they have to, diba? That they have to go through. So if you want to cut that risk of learning curve and move to sales agad, penetration market share agad, it's really good to partner with distributors.
Gets. All right. So talagang it makes it easier, sobrang boost sa marketing and then experience and risk management. So lahat 'yon kailangan nila to be able to penetrate different markets at the same time. So that's very interesting, and I would comment that a lot or a big part of the company is the partnerships with these multinational partners that you have. So my next question would be, how will you maintain those partnerships now with Siemens, with B. Brown and Varian? Ano yung strategies nyo with that?
Well, they're happy with us. Yung B. Brown, 2002 pa namin na principal yan. It's now 19 years. And then itong Siemens, 13 years, practically 80% ng benta nila through a distributor is through Medilines. So kung ganun ang contribution mo sa isang multinational, hindi mo na pakakawalan yung distributor na yun. So yun ang experience namin sa Siemens. Now, yung Siemens, binili nila yung Varian. Varian is a US company na para sa cancer. Binili ng Siemens.
Since our nature is a distributor, technically, we can still carry more principals. I think in general, as long as the partnership is still a win-win, then we would like to maintain partnership with that specific principal. Like in any work naman, in any business, if hindi na siya win-win, di ba? We don't have to maintain the partnership. And luckily enough, we found good working relationship with our current partners that made us grow as a business, but also that made their business grow through us. So yun.
Yep.
So medyo platform mentality din siya in a sense na since you are the distributor, hindi kayo nalilimit sa isang principal, hindi kayo nalilimit talaga sa isang industry sa healthcare. So marami talaga yung opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Dami pa, Renzo. The same for the principals, no?
Yeah.
They're not limited to the distributors, no? They can change distributors. Kailangan lang good match. And I think we have a good match with our current principals. Very good match.
Gets. So, I would guess na sa mga nakikinig sa atin ngayon, they would be asking, paano na after ng COVID? So, my next question is, paano nga ba post-COVID? Where will the growth come from for Medilines?
Well, simulan ko. Yung Medilines operations naman hindi a function of a pandemic. Now, we have been operating since 2002 and nagkataon lang nagkaroon ng COVID-19 ng 2020, no? Quarter 1 ng 2020. Ang nangyari nung pandemic, Renzo, yung mga hindi related na equipment sa COVID-19, bumagsak ang benta nila. Kasi wala munang nagpapa-opera, wala munang nagpapabelo, yung mga equipment para doon. Pero yung may COVID-19, ginagamit. Nagkataon naman na kailangan gamitin yung dalawang produkto namin, CT scan tsaka yung dialysis machine. So pagka wala ng COVID-19, back to normal na Pilipinas, back to normal na rin ang Medilines. Magbebenta na rin kami ng the very same products na talagang may gamit yan kahit walang pandemic. Babalik na kami doon sa the normal usage of our machines, no?
And we are confident because according to a third-party research, ang pangalan nila Research, they researched on the industry. They put up a study. So healthcare kasi is very big, di ba? Hindi lang naman siya medical devices. Meron siyang pharmaceutical, meron siyang insurance, yung mga hospital themselves are part of the healthcare industry. All of that will grow, but the biggest growth will come from medical devices.
Yun.
Now, within medical devices, the highest profit comes from the consumables. Yeah, so that's where our growth will come from. And I think we are in line with the healthcare industry, at least according to that research, na we have the right direction moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why nabanggit rin kanina that in the long term, the company, Medilines, will also focus more on the consumable part ng medical industry.
Will give additional focus. Magpi-50-50 yan in the very long term.
All right.
Kaya Renzo, nagpapatayo kami ng bagong warehouse ngayon para doon namin i-store yung mga consumables. Medyo bulky yung mga yun doon namin siya i-store. Kitang-kita mo na pinaghahandaan na namin itong strategy na to.
Alright. So, okay, gets. So, I'd like to go more into the financial side naman. Let's talk about profitability. So, for the past, let's say, 3 years, how profitable is Medilines? And ano yung nag-contribute mostly to that profitability ni Medilines?
2020 muna, 1.5 billion ang binenta namin noong 2020. And this represents a growth rate of 11.9% from 2018. 2018, 2019, 2020, 11.9% hanggang maging 1.5 billion kami. Now this year, 2021, 1 month to go na lang naman, we are on our way to 1.7, more or less. So maintain ang growth, So kami, para kaming ballpen na ganyan ang graph. Kita niyo ba yan, Ganyan, okay? So magandang growth namin. Now, ang gross profitability namin, dahil hindi naman, sabi ko nga, ang consumables ang malaki ang kita, sa machines maliit lang, 17%. In terms of percent, I would like to reiterate na pagka ginawa mong absolute value on 17% ng isang linear accelerator, ang uli namin binenta is 300 million, isang unit lang yun. Computin mo yung 17% nun, 51 million, isang makina lang yun. So, kahit 17% yan, hindi maliit yan. Pero ang magandang balita, Renzo, yung first half ng 21, yung margin namin, nag-break ng 20%. Nalagpasan pa namin yung 70% na history namin sa margin namin. So ang net income namin over the last 3 years, nag-grow yan ng 16%. No? And in fact, noong 2020, kumita kami ng 103 million pesos. No? Yung 100, lagay na natin, 100 million, i-round na natin. Buong 2020, 100 million ang benta, ang kinita namin. Ano? First half ng 2021, 100 million na rin ang kinita namin. So na-duplicate na namin yung buong taon ng 2020. Sa first half pa lang ng 2021. Medyo pinagpala ng Diyos dahil maganda ang aming vision para sa treatment ng mga Pilipino. No?
All right. So I think marami sa mga investors or sa mga nakikinig ngayon yung excited, no? Given na ganun nga pala yung numbers ni Medilines ngayon. Now, that's a big number and maganda nga yung 11% as na I like to highlight din yung 11% na growth, no, from 2018 to 2020. So in a way medyo nape-predict na rin natin yung future growth na pwedeng ma-maintain yung ganung klaseng profitability for Mediline. So ang question ko naman ngayon, how will you maintain, no, or improve that profitability in the next 2 to 3 years? Are there any strategies that you are looking to employ given that mag-IPO na rin, of course, si Mediline? So
sisimulan ko
Our main growth strategy.
Ay, sorry.
Sige,
Pat. Simulan mo,
Our
ako
main
susunod.
growth strategy is really to increase the profit. By foraying into the consumables business, which I explained earlier, amongst all of the medical device components, have the highest profit at 40 to 50%. By adding that to the mix and growing it, then we are able to increase and grow our profit as well in the next years. So we plan in the next 5 years, magiging 30% na yung 30 to 40% na yung contribution ng consumables lang namin while maintaining the same level of sales or profit that we have for the equipment business, which is our base. So that's really the key growth strategy for Medilines.
No, dahil natanong mo how do we maintain or increase the profitability, no? Naitanong mo rin yung Renzo, di ba?
yes.
Yung IPO namin dahil makaka-raise kami ng funds diyan, di ba? Unang objective namin is magbabayad kami ng mga loans namin sa bangko, no? So makakatipid kami sa interest, no? Yung tipid mo sa interest, diretso yan sa bottom line, diretso yan sa net income. Hindi mo na kailangan gastahin yan dahil meron ka ng funds, no? Then yung balance na gagamitin namin sa pang-working capital, yun ang kinikwento ni Pat, no? Magbi-build up kami ng inventory ng consumables. So we can supply yung mga dialysis centers na dineployan namin ng dialysis machines. We have deployed 600 machines so far mula na sinimula namin itong business na to. And that's many, that's numerous, marami yun. So savings sa interest plus additional focus sa high margin products. Talagang higher profitability ang suma niyan. Then dahil nga may additional working capital, malalakas ang loob namin na magbenta pa dahil may capital pandagdag eh. Na? Yan ang mga mangyayari.
But incidentally, those are the two main UOPs namin, use of proceeds namin, na-discuss na rin namin. Number one is the working capital and the second is the payment of our interest-bearing loans.
Yeah.
All right. So that's very interesting. And later on, siguro we can go into more details, no? Because a lot of people would like to hear about the IPO. So nakuha ko from that na in the next few years, diba, you will shift the focus talaga from the heavy equipment to consumables. Now, my next question would be, is this a high-risk industry, yung healthcare and yung pagdidistribute ng ganito klaseng equipment? And what are those, at least the 3 main risks na talagang pino-focus on nyo and yung talagang what you are working on right now?
Main risk?
I think, well, lahat naman ng businesses may risk, di ba? So, The most important thing is how to be able to manage risks. And I think that our company is able to manage risks, especially that we deal with state-of-the-art, sometimes high capital equipment, diba, that are specialized. We're able to manage risks by, for example, having insurances in place so that covered yung equipment namin by the time that it leaves the principal up until the time that we are able to put it in the hospital. So that's one. Second, because it involves high capitals, we take care of our relationship with the banks while making sure that we stay liquid. It's importante din sa amin yung liquidity, right? And so we take care of that. We have collection drives to really build up the team in order to speed up collection, especially for projects that go beyond probably six months. No? Meron kasi kaming mga project that deals with infrastructure, kaya tumatagal siya minsan. What else? We also cover risks by properly coordinating with our principals. So we also have great logistic strategies with our principals kasi especially for those big equipment, like ang laki ng CT scan, laki ng MRI, linear accelerator, malalaking equipment yan. Ang nangyayari, our principals are the ones kasi who import these because they have import licenses for these. They import in the Philippines. So we don't really need to import these equipment. And then principals deliver straight to the customer so that Medilines doesn't have to deal with storage costs. What else? The risk on, baka may mangyari sa machine while in transit, yun yung mga covered naman namin.
So, ang maganda sa distributor, pagka may bagong technology, you can always change principal. Not that we don't want Siemens or Varian. So, ibig sabihin, pag dumating ng araw na AI na mga pinag-uusapan dyan, no? Yung mga
robotics.
Yun na nga, yung mga latest technology na, all we have to do is to identify a principal na, na involved doon. Hindi yung ikaw yung principal. Ang principal may problema kung may hina R&D niya, no? Baka maiwanan siya, di ba? Pero kami, pag kami na-identify kami principal na puro products of the future ang dinidevelop, pwede na naming bantayan yon para kami piliin nila pagka ready na sila to market. No? Yun ang maganda sa distributor. Magdadagdag lang ako sa risk, kasi Villar ang apelido namin . So, laging lumalabas yan sa meeting, yung political risk. No? Sabi nila, paano kung hindi nyo presidente yung manalo? Ang lagi namin sagot, 2002 pa kami sa negosyong ito. Talagang medical ang background namin lahat. Ang growth namin, ganyan lagi, Renzo. Kahit sino ang presidente, tuloy-tuloy ang growth namin. No? Dahil nga sa relationships na na-build up namin, number 1, working relationships. Number 2, puro high quality produkto namin. Kahit sino presidente, pag gusto nila Varian linear accelerator, kami tatawagan. Pag gusto nila ng Siemens na CT scan, kami tatawagan. Pag gusto nilang B-Brown dialysis machine, kami tatawagan.
So far, all of our government contracts go through the proper procurement process, which is via bidding, which is public, very public. You can access the documents from the internet. So, yun din.
Governed by Republic Act 9184, the Procurement Act. So, hindi kami yung mga negotiated procurement na napapanood nyo sa TV.
So from technological, kung nagbago man yung mundo natin, from logistics to political, parang medyo nako-cover naman talaga yung risk ni Medilines in terms of those. So siguro I think now is the best time to talk about the IPO, because when we are releasing this, na today is actually the offer period for Medilines, November 22 to 26. So unang tanong ko is, how is the experience like, setting up an IPO like this? Kumusta naman yung experience with Sir Jojo, Miss Pat?
Ay, ang ganda. Napakaganda mag-IPO, maniwala ka. Kasi nung pinapatakbo namin kumpanya, kami-kami lang. Meeting kami, meeting umaga, meeting hapon, ganon. Hindi namin nakakausap yung mga matitinik, yung mga magagaling na mga taga-bangko, mga taga-investment houses. Yung barrage ng questions every time magpe-present kami. Naiisip namin, oo nga, mukhang tama sila. Oo nga, bakit hindi namin naisip yun? Nagkakaroon kami ng free consultancy. No? Ang ganda experience. So, na-develop mo yung strategy mo by just digesting yung mga tinanong sa iyo At tama nga ba yun? Tama yung tanong niya ba? Mukhang mali yung ginagawa namin, no? Nag-iisip ka It's a very nice journey itong IPO. Ang ganda, libreng consultancy. Biglang magbabago yung 5-year plan mo sa dami nung nakausap mo matitinik. Oo, ang ganda. Ikaw pa.
But to add to that also and to give confidence to the investors, kasi before you go through IPO, you go through very stringent due diligence process. So lahat ng papeles, binabaliktad, inuulit-ulit ang pagbasa, ng pag-examine, just to make sure that the risk is lessened. Diba? Specifically to cater to the investors para safe din sila. Diba? But while that process is ongoing, din kami, napapaisip nga din kami or parang nakaka-strategize kami ng maayos, nakiklear yung objectives namin. Tapos, nalalearn namin to appreciate talaga the whole process of doing business and identify the areas where we can be better. So, it's exciting. Exciting siya. And I wanted to add also, it's exciting for us kasi when they were looking for companies or previous mga current public companies to compare us with, nahirapan sila kasi wala pa talagang pure healthcare player dito sa market natin. So it's also exciting for the whole team that helped us kasi paano kaya natin to saan natin to ikukumpara na para maintindihan ng mga investors kung saan tayo papunta, our goals, 'di ba? Ma-appreciate nila or makita nila yung totoong value ng Medilines. It's very exciting. And na-excite din sila kasi syempre parang bago healthcare, parang kami naman finally healthcare, 'di ba?
Wow. Kasi madagdag ko lang sa Wall Street ang number 1 industriya, no? Technology. Nandun lahat halos ng investments nila sa Wall Street. Alam mo, Renzo, number 2? Health. Health ang number 2 sa Wall Street na investments ng mga investors doon, which is the whole world, di ba? Wall Street yan Bakit dito sa Pilipinas wala pang health? Yan ang tanong ng lahat. So, isimulan namin ni Pat. So, kami ang mag-uumpisa ng health dito. We will show them the way. Because this is a very important field, para sa atin lahat ng mga population. This should be a focus.
Alright. Sobrang exciting, no? And just to add to that, bakit nga ba nag-IPO si Medilines? And why now? Bakit ngayon yung time na nag-IPO kayo?
Na-highlight yung health nung lockdown nung pandemic, di ba? Halos lahat ng tao marunong na magsalita ng remdesivir, ng vaccination, ng second dose. Dati, take for granted natin yung mga yun. So lahat dahil sa lockdown, pag-isip-isip namin, kailangan na siguro nating ng second big step para sa Medilines, Dahil simulan natin sa consumables muna. Let's do it slowly. And then in the next so many years, silipin na natin yung ibang field, laboratory, malaki din ang kita dyan. Silipin na natin yung orthopedics, ang dami pa surgery, ang dami pang pwedeng puntahan. So, nagkaroon ng na-highlight yung health. Na-highlight yung health. Tapos maririnig mo sa TV, the government will focus on health. Puro ganun Everybody should think about health. Pati yung lahat ng politiko, health. Aba sabi ko, etong industriya, dito tayo. Bilisan natin. Mukhang dito pupunta yung budget. Ng private,
and it's really
saka ng public
exciting
sector.
Siguro, it's really exciting to to have that door open for investors to participate in the industry that we're in. Diba? So we're giving them that
Opportunity.
that platform,
Platform.
that opportunity to be part of healthcare by investing in Medilines.
Tama. Alright. Sobrang exciting talaga. Kasi
Exciting.
before Medilines, ang only way that I know na you can invest is through hospital stocks. And hindi siya something na public na sa stock market natin. And talagang kailangan malaking amounts of capital yung nilalabas mo. So grabe, exciting tong industry sa PSE. Recently, actually last Thursday, na-announce din na the final IPO price for Medic or Medilines will be 2.3 pesos per share. So how did you arrive at this price coming from previously 2.45 per share?
Nag-meeting kami ng aming underwriter, yung PNB, no? Then pinakitaan kami ng libro, yung tinatawag nilang book building, no? Nasaan na ba ang mga commitments? So pinakitaan kami ng sa ganitong presyo, ganito umorder o nagpa-reserve. Sa ganitong presyo, ganito ang nagpa-reserve. Sa ganitong presyo, ganito ang nagpa-reserve. Doon sa una namin presyo sa 2.45, ubus na eh. Ubus na sa 2.45, walang biro. Pero sabi namin, magpapasko naman, Renzo, kailangan atras natin ng konti para naman everybody happy. No? Hindi naman namin mapapromise yung binigay ng all day. Pero malay natin, mag-limit up, di natin alam. At least, umatras kami ng konti, knowing na sold out na sa highest price, matras pa kami konti para Merry Christmas to everyone. Sana. Sana.
Some upside to the investors, diba? Para ma-motivate naman talaga sila na sumali sa industry namin.
Yun.
Alright. So, papasko pala ni Boss Jojo and ni Miss Pat yun.
Sana, Renzo.
Sana close rally diba?
Hindi natin masasabi kung anong mangyayari. Sana. Sana. We're praying.
Sige. So, following on with that, what was the reception from the institutional investors given that you moved the price a bit lower sa 2.3 peso per share?
Maganda. Nasa Manila Bulletin kanina, di ba? Ang oversubscription, i-quote ko yung Manila Bulletin 2.7 times sa institutions. And we have strong hands. Yan ang tawag nila. Bawal daw sabihin kung sino yung mga institutions na yon. Pero yung strong hands, yun yung mga hindi bumibitaw, mga 1 year sila doon.
Yeah.
So,
we have several long-only investors.
Long-only investors ang tawag doon. Nandun sila. So naniniwala sila kasi health ito eh. So happy kami sa composition ng aming institutions. Yung nakita naming column sa 245, ubos pati yung pang-retail sa institutions pa lang eh. But of course, hindi nila pwedeng kunin lahat yung kailangan may certain portion talaga po retailers. Ganun kaganda nakita namin, Resto. Pero siyempre, kailangan. Pilipino tayo, konting tawad. Di ba? Konting baba. Konting baba.
Alright.
Para happy si Mrs.
The next one is, what can investors naman, if they do become investors of Medilines, what can they expect from Medilines if they decide to become shareholders?
They will participate in the focus industry of the future, which is health, Makakasama sila doon sa mission na 'yon. 'Yun ang anong madadagdag mo ron, Pat?
Yeah, that's really it. That they will be able to participate in this industry. And this industry is really a growing industry kasi ang dami pa natin pwedeng gawin here, especially here in the Philippines.
All right. So an investment in Medilines is basically an investment talaga sa healthcare natin. So
yeah,
I guess the last question, if there are people here that want to be shareholders, want to be investors in Medic, how can people participate and invest in the Medic IPO?
Well, doon sa aming IPO, approximately 570 million will be for retail investors, Renzo. And then they can Online, they can apply for allocation PSEEC, di ba? Alam nyo lahat siguro yun. For as low as 2,300 pesos. No? And a maximum of 99,000 something, no? Divided by 230 kasi. So, ganun. Hindi na kami humingi ng permission para i-allow na sana 200 o 300. Kasi nag-aaway lang eh, no? Marami na uubusan. Tsaka yung underwriter naman, nauubos ang oras sa kaka-refund, no? Nagiging messy. So we're just sticking to the rule ng PSEEC, no? Then yun ang 10%, yung 570 million. Doon naman sa may mga yung mga brokerage houses naman, ang allocation nila is double ng para sa retailers, no? So kung may mga brokers kayo, you can ask for allocations from them doon sa mga house nyo. Kasi 70% reserved sa institutions yata yun. Yan ang ruling ng PSE.
All right. So I think that's a good way, no, to end this conversation. But before we leave, no, I would like to ask a final message, no, from you, Sir Jojo and Miss Pat. Ano yung final message nyo para sa mga ka-investa natin na nakikinig at sumusubaybay ngayon sa ating Medilines IPO?
Ikaw muna, Pat.
If I can start, yeah, sige. Pero ikaw na, syempre yung pogi yung for all of the investors, yung mga ka-investa natin dyan, healthcare is really a growing category and we're excited that you now have an opportunity to participate in the industry that we have grown to know and also, of course, to love. Sa lahat ng bagay, siguro healthcare is something that's easily understandable in terms of investment. Kasi lahat naman tayo kailangan ng medical assistance and in one point of our lives, diba? So it's very easy to understand, but at the same time, it's a growing industry. Healthcare, especially in the Philippines, we have a lot of growing to do and daming opportunities dyan. So economically, it's also very attractive. And if I may add a personal thing, it's also socially impactful kasi to be part of and to invest in something that will give quality healthcare to all of us, right? So meron din siyang social factor na we are happy that Medilines is able to provide quality medical equipment, and we want to make that quality medical equipment available to as much Filipinos as possible. Kaya we are working on growing our business. And also we're excited after being the first pure healthcare IPO na madami ng ibang mga healthcare companies na susunod sa akin.
Sana.
So yun yung akin.
Yung i-expound ko yung social, expand ko yan, Renzo. Meron kaming feeling na pagka may isang bagong dialyze, alam namin na nadagdagan yung buhay niya eh. No? Napahaba namin ang buhay niya. Merong magandang feeling yun eh. Tapos yung ginamitan ng linear accelerator, medyo nagkakaroon ng pag-asang gumaling sa breast cancer, for example. No? Iba pakiramdam nun, di ba? Doon naman sa pagtaong CT scan o in ultrasound, no? For example, yung ultrasound, magiging babae yung anak mo. Nakita mo, nakita agad yung balita dahil in ultrasound. Nadidinig mo yun pag nagbebenta ako sa hospital. Nakikita ko yung mga smile sa faces ng patients. So, yun ang satisfaction namin dito sa aming industriya. No? Dito naman sa financial, of course, investment. I-quote ko na lang yung kapatid ko nung interview yata sa all day. Na pagka may nakita kang opportunity, baka maiiwang ka eh. Pag sa tingin mo maganda, sunggaban mo na. Huwag mong paabutin ng middle of 2022. Iisipin mo, sayang nag-IPO, hindi ako bumili nun, no? Sayang talaga, hindi ako humingi na allocation. Naku, naiwanan ako. Sabi, huwag naman sana mangyari sa inyo. I'm not saying na tataas to. Market forces pa rin yan. Kaya lang, siyempre, nasa pang-amoy nyo na yan, di ba? Ganun no? Kung kikita o hindi. Yun naman from the financial side, di ba? Yan ang kinote ko lang yung brother ko nung siya naman ang ini-interview sa all day. Pareho lang naman kami, dalawa na lang kami brothers. So, pareho kami utak nun. Yun lang ang masasabi ko. May social impact, financial impact, diskarte nyo na yan. Kung ano sa tingin nyo. Ako maganda tingin ko. Siyempre, sa inyo na yan. Huwag nyo lang pakakawalan kung sa tingin nyo opportunity ito. Huwag nyo pakakawalan. Please, ang hirap magsisi 6 months from now or 3 months from now.
Sige. I think that is the perfect way to end this conversation. Gusto ko muna magpasalamat sa inyo, Miss Pat, Sir Jojo, because this is a good opportunity for our investors to get to know your company. And bihira lang, di ba, yung mga company na lumalapit sa mga retail investors, karamihan ng mga nag-IPO or karamihan ng kumpanya, talagang nag-cater lang sila sa mga sa mga big investors, no? So thank you so much for educating everyone, for letting us know what the business is all about, and we are very excited, no, to see how the Medilines IPO will go. So good luck, Sir Jojo and Miss Pat. Thank you so much for your time.
Salamat.
Thank
Maraming
you.
salamat, Pat and Renzo. Maraming salamat.
All right. So thank you, and that's it, mga ka-invest. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope na-educate kayo. And if gusto nyo pang mas makita yung journey ni Sir Jojo, no, in terms of entrepreneurship, meron din kaming previous conversation sa Deep Pockets naman about his story. So yeah.